It's your Catholic Drive Time
with Joe McClane and EmilyiAlcaraz.
Praise be to Jesus Christ in all things. Thank you, Emily, for reading the news and keeping us up to date. We're expecting a phone call from the personal secretary and attorney for Mr. Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the director of Radio Biafra and television. He also leads the largest mass movement of freedom in the world, and Biafrans all over the world follow him in the restoration of the sovereign nation of Biafra. Now, just as a little background, there was, in the mid-'60s, there was a civil war there. The people in the southeast state wanted to be independent. There was a lot of persecution. There was a lot of turmoil because of the northern Fulani. And it didn't go well, didn't end well. And now there's a movement again to stand on their own. And we wanted to get greater context and try to understand, because I don't know about you, but when I read the headline news about stories that come out of Nigeria, it can, as a Western person, it can be very confusing. What is going on here? What are the causes? Who's doing what to whom and why? And I always felt like I never got solid answers to those questions, and I was always mightily confused by it until I met a wonderful Catholic woman up in North Texas who sat down with me and explained a lot of stuff to me. So we were very excited to have this conversation. Unfortunately, Mr. Kanu was not feeling up to it. But his attorney, Caroline Okafor, is on the phone with us or on by Zoom with us this morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for being a part of our program.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you just taking time to just notice what's going on in the southeast of Nigeria. It's definitely admirable.
Now, Mr. Kanu you said was not feeling well. Hopefully he'll be okay. It's not serious.
Just jet lagged.
Well, praise be to God. We're very happy it's not very serious. But maybe you could start, Miss Caroline, with giving us the background. Biafra is not a term or a name that most Western people like myself have ever heard of. What does that mean, and why is there a movement for independence yet again in Nigeria?
Well, just like you addressed earlier, I know that you spoke about what was going on in 1967, which was one of the biggest genocides of the Civil War in Nigeria. A lot of Biafrans died. I believe over 2 million died. And we were merged forcefully into Nigeria. The sad thing is, since that atrocities has happened and occurred in 1967, we're sitting here in 2021 and things have still not gotten better. When Biafra was a republic at that time in Nigeria, the Igbos or people had a sense of freedom, right? They were able to basically live life and do things accordingly without fear, without corruption from the government. They just basically had everything that they wanted in a republic to just live happy and well. Financially, everything was going well. They were able to provide schools for our people. So after the Civil War, when that was taken away from us, we were forced to live in this country, a corrupt country called Nigeria. And if you know the history of Nigeria, you know that there's so much issues with the government. With the government, so much terrorism. So fast forward again till today, we're still going through those same atrocities that occurred in 1967. They're just bigger as far as an overlaps of time. And some of the stories are honestly worse now. We're dealing with the Fulanese herdsmen, and we're dealing with the government as well. And they continue to suppress us. So what Biafra means, it just means a sense of freedom. Freedom that we're trying to regain. And not just for Biafrans, for everyone that is living in Nigeria that is having a sense of insecurity, that's having a sense of lack of freedom, a lack of fundamental rights. That is the symbol of Biafra. And we are working hard to make sure that there's not going to be another 1967 genocide. And we're making sure that Biafra will come because it's needed. You have to pretty much build this republic. You basically have to rebuild a republic, not because people try to say, okay, when Nigeria, let's just fix Nigeria. You cannot fix Nigeria. You need to start something new and fresh. And that's what we're advocating for.
We're talking with Caroline Okafor. Now, how do I say your last name properly? You said it once on the phone. I'm sorry?
It's Okafor.
Okafor. Did I say that right? I hope I get your name right. Yeah. At any rate, we're talking with personal secretary and attorney here in the United States for Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader of the Biafra people and their movement and their cause. Now, one of the questions I have, just for clarity's sake, is oftentimes when I look at the headlines, the reports of atrocities coming out of Nigeria, I think in terms of Muslim versus Christian. The Fulanese up in the north versus the Igbos in the south. But is it that simple? Is it that straightforward? Or is there, maybe you can help us better understand the groups, the Fulanese versus the Igbos, and how are they made up demographically?
So the Fulanese, they mostly reside in the north, and then the Igbos they mostly reside in the southeast. So the problem is that if you look at the history of Nigeria, Nigeria is pretty much ran by the north, and the Fulanese, most of them are herdsmen. That's what they do from day to day. They are Muslims, and their idea is pretty much to kind of take over every area of Nigeria, including the southeast. So they move their cattle from time to time. And right now, currently, they are actually but they're actually trying to mobilize themselves in the southeast. And upon doing that, they're killing, because Igbos, majority of them are Christians, Catholics, Jewish. So majority, they're killing them. They're coming into their towns, taking over their lands, and they are killing them. By religion, Fulanese are Muslim. So, today I read, which was, pretty much on point, Muslim Fulanese killed 11 Christians, and 2 were wounded in Nigeria. It's an ongoing issue. And Nigeria does not hold the Fulanese, they don't hold them accountable. So there's really no laws there. And it's pretty much like you're trying to force people to be in a religion that they're not brought up to that, for one. And then you're trying to force people to give up their land. And again, just oppressing us. So yes, if that helps answer your question.
Is it a case where the government in the north is turning a blind eye, or are they actively sponsoring and promoting this behavior, this violence against the people?
So to answer both your questions, yes and yes. The government is turning a blind eye. I have so much reports, and every day I pretty much cry about it. You see so many reports coming from the southeast and what's going on. They have they actually have laws in place that prevent the Fulanese prevent them to do what they're doing. But the federal government and the state government, they fail to act. Time after time, they do not act. And the fact is that the federal government is mostly comprised of people from the north, right? So we don't have a representation of Igbos in the government in high level places where we will be able to push for.
All right, hold that thought. We'll be right back.
This is
the Speed of Jesus Christ. Welcome back to Catholic Drive Time, keeping you informed and inspired. I'm your host, Joe McClane. So good to be on with you. We're talking about Nigeria, Biafran movement, the Biafran people seeking independence and freedom. And trying to get an understanding, because, again, I said this earlier, but if you're at all like me, someone from the West, born and raised in America, and don't understand, the real dynamics at play here, it's easy to misunderstand what you read in the headlines when they come out. You shake your head and you just don't understand it. And unfortunately, one of the problems is it's just underreported just to begin with, and what you do get is not enough information. So to help clarify that, we're having a conversation with Caroline Okafor. She is the personal secretary and attorney for Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader of the Biafran movement and people. Good morning and welcome back to our program, Caroline.
Thank you so much again.
I also want to welcome Miss Dr. Augustina Odidiku, who helped me better understand things last year when I had a chance to sit down with her. Good morning to you, Tina.
Good morning, Joe, and good morning, Caroline.
praise be to God. Thank you both for having this conversation. I think it's an important one. One of the questions I want to jump back into is related to the news. I struggle to find sources that provide good quality information about what does go on in Nigeria. Caroline, which outlets provide the best, most accurate information?
That's the struggle, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Joe. That is a struggle that we have a problem with because, journalists in Nigeria they're threatened on a daily from the government about posting actual facts that are going on. So you rarely see such information being, basically being laid out as the facts should. But some of the reports that I look at, there's a lot of Eastern articles. They're not as publicized as other journalists, but Sahara reporters, they just started reporting some stuff that's going on. I think that's probably like the only one that I read. And then we have our own journalist that I actually get the news from because they report stuff that's actually on the ground. So, and I will share you some of their websites as well. One thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get those articles, at least publicized here in the United States, so the United States can understand what's going on. And I just pray that this time, their eyes will be open and they can assist us and help and really, really help us and put their hands into this because people are dying daily and we have to step in.
Tina, you're part of the diaspora. The many people of I want to say Nigerian, but I'm guessing based on this conversation that maybe the word Nigerian might not be the most appropriate word to use to describe you, Tina. How do you describe yourself, and how should we in the West be thinking of the people?
I want you to, every time you meet someone who says that they're Biafrans, ask them, we want to be identified as Biafran Americans. That's number one. Anywhere you find us in the world, we would like to identify as Biafrans, not as Nigerians. Because as you know, the word Nigeria is coming or coined from Niger. Nigger. Everyone knows that is a derogatory term in the United States of America. Nobody wants to be called that. That's number one. And number two is that area that they call Nigeria was never formed by the indigenous of the people. That the people who called us that name were British explorers. And now this is in quotes. British explorers who came and gave a space like that the name Nigeria. We are indigenous peoples of different ethnic tribes, and we want to remain that way. We want to go back to that form because putting us together has not worked for many, many, many years. And right now, Nigeria is a killing field. It is a killing field. If you live in the space called Nigeria, your life is in danger 24/7. Like Caroline already said, we just want to return back how we used to be. We want to be a peaceful people. We want to live our simple lives. We don't need a whole lot to be happy in life. We just want to be left alone. But right now, no one lives in Nigeria that is even at ease with himself or herself. Wow. You lay down at night, you don't know whether you'll be killed in the night, and you wake up in the morning and get in the street, you don't know whether you'll be killed in the street. It is a killing field. And I heard you ask that question before. If the government in place in Nigeria is actively recruiting and helping, yes, the answer to that question is yes. Muhammadu Buhari's government is actively recruiting and installing people all over Nigeria. Even the governors in those different states that they have are working almost as slaves to him to make sure that they carry out the Muslim agenda. And the Muslim agenda is simple, to Fulanize and Islamize all of Nigeria and take it over. So Christians has no place in Nigeria whatsoever. If you're a Christian, you are as good as dead. If you don't die today, you die tomorrow. That's how it is.
So for the sake of clarity, I'm still trying to understand the Biafra movement. Is this an ethnically unified group? Are all Biafrans Igbo, or do they speak the same language? Do they have the same religion? Or is it sort of different indigenous groups who want their separation from Nigeria?
We Biafrans are ethnically related, but we have different dialects of the Igbo language and different versions of the Igbo language, tribal languages. So we are different, but we are related. Our DNA, like our leader says, our DNA is the same. We are the same people, the same stock of people. We came from Israel, and we descended and migrated into that area called the Niger Delta area, the southeast part of Nigeria.
Caroline, I want to go back to you. We have about 5 minutes or so left in our conversation. Caroline Okafor, the personal secretary and attorney for Mr. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Biafran movement. You mentioned earlier in our conversation that you wanted to avoid the genocide that occurred in the 60s. Now, one of the elements of that, for most of us that probably aren't familiar with the story, I only know because I looked it up. I cheated. I looked into it. But at the time, during the Civil War, the leader in the North surrounded and created a blockade of the South, preventing food from coming in. And so many of the people starved as a part of that Civil War. What are the chances? I mean, today marks the first day of the siege of the Alamo in 1835. What is so it fascinates me on one level and concerns me on another. What are the chances that you could secede from Nigeria? Number one. Number two, how would you avoid actual armed conflict and violence? Caroline.
So the chances that we can succeed, I do believe, because Biafrans are not the only group agitating for freedom. There's other groups, other ethnic groups in Nigeria that are agitating for freedom. So, the chance of us succeeding more than ever is it's very large. It's very high. I just think that our group, IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, they've been doing they're the largest movement, like you said, and we've been trying to just kind of pump in information as much as possible as we can and get other countries alert. So if we continue to work as hard as we do and the Nigerian government continues to fail as fast as they're doing, succeeding or to secession is not a problem. It's not unrealistic. It's very much realistic.
But do you think you could avoid the conflict, actual armed conflict?
And that's the thing, because right now we have the Eastern Security Network that is in the Southeast. They were created by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through IPOB, and they are there to protect the land of our people. So, if other countries continues to be silenced, I feel like war is going to be at the footsteps. But if other countries get involved and people are made more aware, then something can be done before full-blown war is taking place. Because if you read stuff right now, I mean, it's getting there. It's approaching there very fast. And that's why we're begging and praying, not necessarily begging, but we're just praying for other countries to get involved and see how they can assist us before, war comes.
Mm. And what do you need countries like the United States or countries in the West at all what are you asking of them? What could they do to assist in this situation and bring peace and security to your people?
Well, in all honesty, we are the only people that can actually bring it ourselves. But with the assistance of, British, that's a whole nother story. The UK has heavy ties with Nigeria, and they have the power to force them to get a referendum. Nigeria, they don't want to change their constitution to implement a referendum. If they do that, it's going to be 0 to nothing. We will win that because everybody wants freedom. As far as the United States, if the United States can make it more aware of what's going on and put sanctions on some of the state and federal officials that are acting in violence towards some of the citizens, and just there's different things that the United States can do. So putting sanctions, making it more aware, actually speaking up about the idea of Biafra being a republic and how that will be able to help people in Nigeria. So yes.
All right, we are out of time. Caroline Okafor, thank you for your time today. We're very grateful that you were on our program and gave us some great context and information there. We'll be praying for all of the people, and we're grateful for your time. Hopefully, we'll have a chance someday in the future to talk to Mr. Kanu. It would be great to have him on our program.
Yep.
But God love you. And
thank you.
Of course, Dr. Tina Agustina Madu Odidika, thank you for being on the show and giving us some greater context as well. We're very grateful to you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, praise be to God. Pray for the Biafran people and their cause, and definitely let's see what we can do to help them and assist them in this moment. But don't go anywhere. If you're able to join us for the second hour of Catholic Drive Time, we would certainly love to have you. Got a lot more coming, including the game show, and a huge prize is at stake this week. So join us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Just search for @GRN Online.
Thank you for joining us on your Catholic Drive Time, where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.